You're watching SEC Saturday on Mix 104.1 and MixTV.tv, presented by CHI Memorial.
Welcome to SEC Saturday on Mix TV and Mix 104.1. Well, last week we witnessed a Florida team struggle. Arkansas almost pulled off an upset over LSU, and Missouri is 4-0. Now this week, let's turn our attention to Lexington. The Wildcats host the Gators. To the plains of Auburn as the Tigers try to upset the back-to-back champs. Down to the Grove as the Rebels try to find their offenses. They host LSU. And in Knoxville, where the Volunteers try to get redemption for last year's embarrassing loss to South Carolina. No matter who you're pulling for across SEC country, by the time we finish, we promise to have, you more confused than Jimbo Fisher wandering the sidelines. Pretty good. Jimbo Fisher wandering the sidelines of Texas A&M. Welcome to SEC Saturday. Pretty good, Shelton. Welcome back to a man we thought had retired, but here he is again. Shelton, how are you?
I'm fine. You know, I've been asked a couple of times this week, where have I been? Basically with these guys, it's basically the same as Donald Trump not showing up to the Republican debates. There's no need for me to be here.
Oh, my Lord. Jason Cox, how are you?
I'm well. I will say Donald Trump has better hair than you. So,
well, now that's true.
Well, any hair would be better hair, so it's fine.
Josh Rogers, what's happening?
Hey, happy to be here again. As always, great to see Shelton back in studio. Glad he got back from his sabbatical or rehab or whatever it was.
Oh, man.
That he's back. Suspension, I don't know.
I thought he was in a monastery. I wasn't sure.
I don't even know what that is. But
I don't either. Well, I'll tell you what. Let's start, of course. We welcome you in, and thanks again, CHI Memorial. So hot takes, Shelton. Give me your best hot take from last week.
Well, the hot take is that we continue to watch a UT offense that struggles to produce the same quality of conversions they did last year, because we have a quarterback that is the most athletically gifted person from the bottom of their feet to the top of their shoulders, but is unable to be able to compete at this level of SEC play. We tried this at Michigan, couldn't do it. We tried this 2 years ago, couldn't do it. Now we're trying it again in 2023, and he can't do it. It's time to move on as the Tennessee offense, move on to Nico, move on to the future, and let's put Milton where he needs to be, in the nursing home at 27 years old.
Jason, what's your hot take?
Dan Lanning is a Debbie Downer, okay? I mean, this guy, he's so mad about Deion getting all this fanfare or whatever. Deion Sanders is the only man in the history of ever to score a touchdown and hit a Major League Baseball home run in the same week.
And a helicopter ride.
Listen, Dan Lanning can be jealous all he wants, but he's a Debbie Downer.
All right, Commissioner, let's get your hot take.
Florida State is not the fourth best team in the country. Played against Clemson last week. That game was 31-24 in overtime.
Deja vu. I don't know why.
It is.
Yeah. I just don't think Florida State is that good. I think that they're probably somewhere ranked high, 10th, something like that, but they're not the fourth best team. Alabama, still not good, even though they beat Ole Miss. I still think that Alabama is continuing that downhill slide and trajectory in the SEC West. And the last hot take that I have from last week, I've got three for you. I love Lou Holtz. If you saw Lou Holtz on the Pat McAfee show
roasted.
with Lou Holtz.
But he got roasted.
With Lou Holtz on the Pat McAfee show, getting under Ryan Day's skin at Ohio State to where he had to say something after their win, which was a very horrible win against Notre Dame. Yeah. I love Lou Holtz. I hate Ohio State with a passion, so I am thankful Lou Holtz can get under his skin just a little bit.
He did, too. I don't know if you saw his face contorting and he's foaming at the mouth.
The best thing was Lou Holtz's response later that week, where he said, I didn't know Pat McAfee's show was watched by all these people and everybody knew about it. Unbelievable.
He probably didn't know who Pat McAfee was.
Absolutely not.
All right, now it's time, and
I'll give mine real quick.
Yeah.
For 18
Did you not do one?
No, 18 teams are still 4-0 in the college football playoff picture, which is incredible at this point in the season.
All right. I
thought Milton was your hot take.
Yeah, I thought, yeah.
Oh, sorry. I'm going back to 18
Josh
teams.
got three hot takes. So
I'm getting one more. That's fine.
So it's fine. It's time now for the Wholesale Supply Group Electrical shock of the season. All right, we're getting good now. We're getting good now. The writers' strike is over. So anyway, that's what's happened. You're on the writers' strike.
I was.
And now it's over.
I'm
Thank
back,
you,
baby.
Gavin Newsom.
Yeah, I'm back, baby.
Exactly. He'll be debating DeSantis on November 30th with Hannity. All right.
Heard your Tim Burchett interview this week.
Oh, that was
Unbelievable.
good. Yeah, I liked it.
Oh, did you hear that one?
that was
All right.
perfect.
Well, we'll talk about that off the air. Thank you. The Wholesale Supply Group electrical shock of the season. Okay, what's been the biggest shock, Jason Cox, or surprise of the season so far?
The Duke Blue Devils are becoming
Wow.
QB University.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
Their quarterback, Riley Leonard, is a stud. He's so good. He's so good under pressure. I love it. They're 4-0, and that's my shock of the week.
Wow. What about Josh?
I think Washington State being 4-0. I think a lot of people are saying that they are probably the second or third best team in this country. Joel Klatt from Fox was talking about that earlier this week, and I was listening to him. Washington State 4-0. I think they're ranked 21st right now in the nation. Unbelievable team, and Washington as well. I think they're 4-0 too. So the state of Washington really playing great football right now.
John, what do you make of it?
It's going back to Florida State. I know what Josh is saying, and I agree with him. They are probably not the fourth best team in the nation, but here's what they've done in the first 4 weeks. They beat LSU. They beat Clemson in overtime. Now they're in the driver's seat for an ACC championship and really to slide into that college football playoff in a team that's just not that good, but somehow they have been able to win. Second shock is that Alabama continues to win with defense only. I know defense wins championships, but apparently you don't have to score right now in the SEC. I just see Bama losing 2 to 3 games for the end of the season, but they're now sitting where they are at 4-0.
The crazy thing is we were talking about Florida State for the past 2 years, about how horrible they were, about how they need to fire their coach and they need to bring somebody else in. And for them to have the success that they are, it's great. But I still just don't think they're that good.
It's transfer portal. He brought in more transfer portal guys than anybody else, and it's not really even close. Okay, that he has worked that transfer portal
More than
really
Deion?
well. What?
More than Deion?
No, there's nobody more than Deion.
Nobody more than Deion.
Within reason.
And I'm talking a couple of years here, not just Deion. So yeah, I mean he has done really, really well in that transfer portal. He's kind of the model for how you handle it.
Yeah, and the editors know. I did say Washington State. I meant Washington when I said that.
I got you.
Michael Penix Jr.
Yes.
is probably one of the best quarterbacks to come out of the NCAA in 10 years.
And fun fact about him, he was verbally committed to Jeremy Pruitt at Tennessee.
Wow. We're going to take our first break right here. It's SEC Saturday presented by CHI Memorial. We're on MixTV.tv, Mix 1041. UT, South Carolina, 7:30. Back in a moment.
You're watching SEC Saturday on Mix 104.1 and MixTV.tv. Presented by CHI Memorial.
Welcome back, everyone, to this week's edition of SEC Saturday, presented by CHI Memorial. Time to get the guys to start previewing the games. Let's begin with LSU and Ole Miss. This weekend brings us a pair of ranked SEC West rivals, both 3-1 on the season. Number 20, Ole Miss, welcomes number 13, LSU. And college football's Week 5 action today. LSU sits in the pole position now in the SEC West, already 2-0 in the conference after taking down Mississippi State and Arkansas in succession. While the Rebels come in at 0-1 in SEC play after taking another L at Alabama last Saturday. Shelton, what do you make of it?
Well, this game comes down to third downs. I mean, I did some research here. Ole Miss, they're 13-1 in their last 14 games when converting 44% or more of its third down tries. Brian Kelly at LSU is 2-5 when allowing offenses to convert more than 40%. This game comes down to one possession each time they have the ball for Ole Miss. If they're successful on third downs, they win. If not, I think Lane Kiffin goes 0-2 in the SEC, and I also think Lane Kiffin begins to find another job in the country.
What about it, Josh?
Wow. I don't know, is Nick Saban getting fired from Alabama? Because I think that's
He's top of your hot seat.
But that's the only, to be honest, I think that's the only job that that Kiffin would want would be Alabama. I think that he's happy at Ole Miss. I think that Ole Miss has a
You don't see Kiffin maybe sliding to Clemson?
no. Dabo will be there till he dies.
Dabo going to Alabama?
No. Even though he played there, I just don't think that it is. But listen, yards passing, total yards in game, right? LSU 530, Ole Miss 470. Yards allowed 360 and 351. Defensively, I think that it really it's comparable on this defense. I think it comes down to Ole Miss's offensive play. I think how they can drive that ball on LSU's defense. To me, I like LSU in this game. I think that they've played a little bit better throughout the entire season. But at the end of the day, they really haven't played anybody. Tulane was a very good school. Grambling, they played Florida State, really got embarrassed in that first game of the season. Ole Miss, on the other hand, is coming off of a loss to Alabama where they were really kind of in that game until the third quarter. I mean, they played very good football.
Really 5 or 6 minutes in the third quarter. That was it. That was the whole game.
That with this game being at Ole Miss, I think that for me, I think that's really where it changes. For me, I'm going Ole Miss.
Hotty toddy himself right here.
Yeah, hello. Okay. What about it, Cox?
Well, I said two things last week. Number one, I reminded the audience that I feel like Lane Kiffin is the most overrated head football coach in football. And then I went on and I picked Ole Miss. I'm dumb. I'm a moron. I admit it. I apologize to everyone. So I'll not do that again. I love Jaden Daniels. I love Malik Neighbors. I know it's at Ole Miss, but give me LSU.
All right, so now the 22nd ranked Florida Gators, 3-1, 1-0 in the SEC, travel to take on Mark Stoops' 27th ranked Kentucky Wildcats. They are 4-0, already 1-0 in the SEC for a big SEC showdown. That is that noon game. The Florida Gators lead the overall series at 53-20. However, Kentucky won the last matchup last year. 26-16 are looking to win their third straight over the Gators. Jason Cox.
We were talking off air a minute ago about what a missed opportunity it was for Tennessee to lose to Florida a couple weeks ago. And because I just don't think Florida's that good. They're 4-0. Their record says differently. I think they go to Kentucky, and I think they get beat again. I think Devin Leary is starting to find his footing in that Kentucky offense. And I think Kentucky makes it 3 in a row over the Gators.
We're back, Commissioner.
Florida. I still don't understand rankings in college football. It's one thing that makes me so angry. I'm glad Georgia's on top, but how in the world is Tennessee ranked ahead of Florida? 22 and 23 after literally Florida Gator stomped Tennessee all over the field.
Okay.
I mean, it was a beat down, a literal beat
down. I was there.
Down.
It wasn't a beat down. That's fine.
Beat down. Trevor Etienne, 172 yards rushing in that game, touchdown in that game. I think Florida is starting to kick. I agree with you. I don't think that they're that good. Okay. I don't think that they're going to beat a Georgia. I don't think they can beat an Alabama. I don't think they could probably even beat a Colorado at this point. But my thing is that for me, I think that Florida is better than Kentucky. I know it's hard to play in Lexington, but the real thing is that this is the only good thing for Florida about playing in Lexington, it's a 12 o'clock game. And it's on still in September, right? So it's not cold and it's not at night. So give me the Florida Gators.
Hey, our preview here says Florida's 4-0, but they
3-1.
Yeah, they did lose to
Utah.
Right.
And this whole thing.
And,
what Rogers?
Ole Miss and LSU are playing in Starkville, so I didn't know that.
Sorry. Well,
oh, come on.
That's fine. You guys can start doing your own prep work. And you guys wonder why I didn't want to come back to the show. And so, I've seen Florida live. I've seen, and I will to Josh Rogers' credit, as much as I don't want to give this, Trevor Etienne, he rushes for more than 100. Florida wins. Less than 100, Wildcats win. I think they go to Kentucky. I think they get embarrassed. I think they don't score more than 14. I think Kentucky wins this game 28-14. I think Kentucky moves on. I think you're going to see the real Florida Gators and how they have the inability to defend anyone but the Tennessee Volunteers and a poor quarterbacked offense.
Wow. All right, there you have it. It is SEC Saturday on Mix 104.1 and MixTV.tv. Don't forget, you can download the free Mix 104.1 app. Listen or watch us on your phone, your mobile device, thanks to CHI Memorial. That is a free download from our website at mymix1041.com. We're counting down to kickoff as South Carolina will be at UT. The guys are going to pick that game among one more coming up, and our other games we're going to spotlight during our next segment. We've got one more to go here. Stand by. This is SEC Saturday presented by CHI Memorial.
You're watching SEC Saturday on Mix 104.1 and MixTV.tv, presented by CHI Memorial.
All right, everyone, welcome back. It's SEC Saturday, presented by CHI Memorial on Mix 104.1 and MixTV.tv. Let's continue our game previews and picks. It's been a season of streaks thus far for the number one ranked Georgia Bulldogs. They've now won 21 straight games, including the first of their back-to-back national titles. They've won 31 straight regular season games overall. Following their win over South Carolina 2 weeks ago, they've now won 21 straight regular season games in the SEC. They've beaten 22 straight non-league opponents. Of course, they defeated the behemoth UAB last week, 49-21. The 4-0 Bulldogs now hit the road for the first time this season. They're going to take on Auburn. It's always a big battle. It's going to be... it's going to be Georgia and Auburn this week. That's the SEC Big Slot game. Josh Rogers, you are our chief dog here. Start with you.
Jeez. I think that this game is going to be a lot closer than a lot of people think. This line says 27-5.
27.5. Come on.
It's down to 14.
It's not, ESPN has them winning 91%, almost 92% chance of winning this game.
ESPN currently has
Stop.
82%, and the line is 14.5.
Oh,
This
man.
game,
Stop. I got this
numbers,
morning. Stop.
And where are they playing this game at?
It doesn't matter.
Who cares?
The line is currently 14.5. I do think that this game is going to be closer. I think that Georgia's offensively, they have struggled a lot this season. I think that you see them pull away at the end. I think that they wear teams down defensively on the offensive side or on the defensive side of the ball. I think that with Georgia, their big question mark right now is obviously quarterback play with Carson Beck. Carson Beck has played an amazing season. He's done really well, but it's how do those running backs, how do that receiver room, how do they play throughout an entire game? And it's really begins, and you saw that in the South Carolina game, is that it was a very, very slow start for Georgia. I mean, I think it was 7 points in the first quarter, and that was it. And they were actually losing 14-7 or 14-0, whatever it was. Came back, obviously won. But I think that when you go down to the Plains and you play Auburn at home in that raucous crowd at 3:30, I think that for me, listen, Georgia wins the game, but it's not going to be a blowout. I think Georgia fans are going to be biting their nails. They're going to be throwing beers at the TV or whatever it is. And, for me, Georgia wins, but it's very close. Last-minute field goal.
Oh, wow. Shelton?
Well, I don't know what he's talking about, but biting the nails and throwing beers at the TV is just another Saturday at the Rogers house. At the end of the day, the Tigers have allowed 402 yards of total offense, including 209 on the ground. They gave up 16 first downs to the wandering Aggies of Texas A&M. But let me say this. Bo Jackson is greater than Herschel Walker.
Yeah.
Cam Newton is greater than Stetson Bitten.
No.
And this Saturday, the burner phones of Auburn defeat the Georgia Bulldogs for the first loss in 3 years. Go Tigers or War Eagles or whatever you are. Let's go.
Oh,
No.
my
My
word.
goodness.
What about that?
Wow.
Cox.
Well, that explains why our stat sheet here is so messed up. But
He's been prepping for that for 2.5 weeks.
that was good. I like that.
Now he's got to take a nap.
Yeah. We'll see you in 2 weeks.
Here's what I would say: is Georgia interested?
I don't want to come back.
If Georgia's interested, this game's not close. If they're uninterested down there on the plains of Auburn, it could be close. I think Hugh Freeze is a year away. He's a quarterback away. He doesn't have his guy. Peyton Thorne rotated
phone
in
away.
and out.
It's
Yeah,
fine.
burner phone away. Peyton Thorne rotated in and out. And plus, Ole Miss's quarterbacks are throwing to former quarterbacks. They don't even have any wide receivers. So they got to fix their defense. He's got to get his quarterback. They got to get some wide receivers in there. So, but whether it's close or not, it has everything to do with is Georgia interested.
I will say this. I think Ladd McConkey will be back. It's looking like it's trending that way, that Ladd will be back in this game and play. And if that's the case, it's a huge pickup on that for Georgia offensively. He's a number one receiver coming back from last year. He really is kind of that heart and soul of that offense. Him and Brock Bowers. And so really Brock needs to get off to a strong start. But, yeah,
McConkey,
go Dogs.
McConkey, pride of North Murray High School.
Absolutely.
Right?
Wow. All right. Well, it is the game we're all looking forward to, and our final pick here. Actually, before we do that, no, let's change this up a little bit. Give me another game out before we do the final pick. Give me another game outside of the SEC that you're looking forward to. Josh Rogers, I'm going to begin. Oh, I know. Okay, go ahead.
USC, Colorado, baby. 12 o'clock, big noon kickoff.
How do they respond after
That's the question.
Oregon?
I truly believe. I think that's the question that everyone wants to see. I mean, it was a barn burner of a show. I turned it off like after the first quarter of that game.
Do you know
the Muffin Man?
TV ratings? It beat Ohio State, Notre Dame. You tell me Deion Sanders doesn't have. They had over 10 million viewers, biggest viewership for a 3:30 game in 6 or 7 years.
Absolutely.
But it beat Notre Dame, Ohio State in prime time, which
Yes.
came down to the last second. That tells you everything you need to know. Jason Cox, other game.
I'll go Notre Dame at Duke. Going back to my quarterback
He's
conversation.
marking his off now.
I'll go Notre Dame at Duke.
Yeah, and that, game days, of course, as you hear this and see this, game day was there. I guess we're taping this on Thursday, but game day was there. And Duke getting a lot of love right now. All right, are you ready?
Oh, absolutely.
All right, what's the other game?
Well, I tell you, my most interesting game is going to be Texas A&M traveling up to Arkansas. Arkansas is 2-2, but they played really well this year.
Outside, he said outside the SEC.
Well, no, I mean, it can be outside. No, it can be outside of what we're talking about.
It's fine. Okay.
Well, he's a rookie.
Really pay attention.
Regardless, they started playing about 3 or 4 or 5 hours ago, and this game's already over with, I'm sure. But A&M, I think that if A&M loses this game, then we have Jimbo Fisher completely on the hot seat. I think if Arkansas loses this game, you have an entire coaching staff on the hot seat.
Absolutely.
This is this, and I think I hope we all can agree. This is a game that's. I know it's week 5, but I think this is a game that starts making or breaking 2 different coaching staffs because it's an SEC West. I know next year there's no such thing, but I really think that you've got 2 coaching staffs that are trying to really get a firm foundation on the future of their programs, and whoever loses this game, I think, loses that and begins to wonder if they'll be back after this season.
Hey, and A&M's quarterback, Connor Weigman's out for the season.
Done for the season.
The Ivy League game of the week.
Oh.
And I continue, and Shelton, you've been out a couple weeks, and I know you are also getting a lot of responses on this. I cannot keep up with even people sitting down and writing letters to me, which still happens on the Ivy League game of the week. Dartmouth and Pennsylvania. My grandmother, Mrs. Littlefield, Sister Littlefield, from Pennsylvania. I'm going with Penn to beat Dartmouth.
Come on.
The Ben Franklins.
The Ben Franklins. Speaking of which, this is going to be the 42nd game that Tennessee and South Carolina will compete in. Tennessee has won 28 of those meetings all time. However, the Gamecocks won that most recent matchup. We remember it, 63-38 at home last year. Tennessee's activating the dark mode for this game, but do the Vols have enough to slow down Beamer ball? Kickoff 7:30. We're about to join the Vol Network. I'm going to begin this one with Jason Cox.
I'm sure I'm the only one here going to pick Tennessee, but I'm picking Tennessee because it's at Neyland. Spencer Rattler may carve us up. He may be the best quarterback in the SEC right now.
Wow.
Xavier Leggett is just an absolutely unbelievable wide receiver. This game comes down to Spencer Rattler against our front 7, because if our front 7 can't get to him and affect him, our back 4 can't defend it. There's no way. So in my mind, it comes down to Spencer versus our front 7. But I think that the home crowd helps a lot here. Tennessee wins this game.
All right, Josh, what do you make of it?
They better activate something up there because they sure don't have an offense activated.
Wow.
I mean, we'll activate dark mode, but that's kind of what their offense has been all season. Been dark. Ain't been good. All I got to say, 63-38, right? Tennessee wants its revenge. They were embarrassed. They had that opportunity to go and play for a national championship last year. Lost it there at the end. Hooker goes out. Obviously, we know how that would have ended probably for them with Joe Willie back there throwing the ball to everybody but his wide receivers. Give me Tennessee to win this game at Neyland, and that's to be honest with you, that's the only reason I'm picking it. If this game was at South Carolina again, it'd be South Carolina huge. But night game at Neyland, give me Tennessee. Very small victory.
All right, Sheldon.
Well, Brother Hardline,
Come on.
Golly.
the South Carolina offense is 415 yards per game, 340 in the air. That means throwing. And the Tennessee defense has given up 302 yards per game. They gave up 190 yards per game in the air. Last week to the boys from Texas, San Antonio, down at the border, 231 on, 6 or 7 different quarterbacks.
Oh, yeah.
I think this Rattler guy,
Oh, yeah.
he going to strike like a cobra.
Uh-oh.
South Carolina comes over, and it's Beamer ball. We're all going to leave in shades and crying tears. Tennessee gets beat by 14
Whoa.
in Neyland Stadium
He loses his voice screaming about Auburn, Georgia.
against South Carolina.
Oh, man.
Let it be. And then we'll be looking for a new coach by the end of next year.
Oh, my goodness.
Wow.
Well, that's
really?
depressing.
Heupel on the hot seat, huh?
That's it. We're going to join the Vol Network.